This is the plaintiff, Mario Fiore. He says he parked his truck on the street near the defendant's property, and one of his trees came down, damaging his truck. When he contacted the defendants, they were very rude and obnoxious to him, didn't seem to care their tree dented his truck, and refused to pay. Well, now they have a lawsuit on their hands, and he's here in the name of what's right, suing them for every penny of the $2,388.44 he's owed. These are the defendants, Rosita and Douglas Vining. Rosita says there was a huge snowstorm on the day in question, and there was a statewide ban on being on the road. The plaintiff shouldn't even have been out that day. Bottom line, the tree was a healthy tree, and it fell due to the large amount of snow. This was an act of God. It was illegal to be out on the road, and the plaintiff should know better. They're accused of not caring.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff parked his truck in the street. The defendant's tree came crashing down and damaged it. But the defendant says it came down during a huge snowstorm and it was an act of God. It's the case of, and on the seventh day, God created a badass snowstorm.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mario Fiore?
Correct.
You are suing Rosita Vining and Douglas Vining?
Yes.
For $2,388.44, the estimate to fix your truck because during a snowstorm, your truck was parked by their property and a tree fell on it.
Yes.
Okay. And it happens to be on the street in front of property that you own?
Yes.
Okay. And what happens?
But it was a 2 way with snow, and the trees, because it's a little bit hill where I park was the Mr. Rosita property. The trees, it was a lane against the road.
The tree was leaning towards the road?
Towards
How
the road,
so?
yes. But I don't pay attention before.
Okay.
But then when this happened, the snow, it fell off. If it coming down because it was a rotten trees. It was bad, the trees.
What evidence do you have that it was a rotten tree?
I got a picture here.
Okay, let me see. So what happens? How do you learn that his car's been damaged? Was it the whole tree that came down or was it a branch?
A section of the trunk.
A section of the trunk?
Yes.
So it kind of like cracked right?
That's correct.
Right.
And we have a picture of it.
Yeah, let me see your pictures. So you get called out there by him or by police or by whom?
No, Your Honor, it was right in the middle of the busiest part of tax season, and this gentleman walked in.
Busiest part of tax season, what do you folks do?
I own a tax business for over 30 years.
Okay.
And right in the middle of tax season, a gentleman walks in, and years of experience. I can see he didn't have anything in his hands, anything like that. And honestly, ma'am, I didn't quite understand everything that he was saying, broken English, but I did hear the words car and insurance. And I said, what? And he repeated himself. And I says, you need to get your taxes done? So I want to make sure we were on the same page. And he kept saying something that I couldn't understand. He says,
I mean, I've understood him. Here's the
I know, but that day I did it.
Okay.
And since
Maybe he was more excited.
since he made phone calls to me, whatever, and he said,
Okay, bottom line, did you walk outside and see it?
not that day because I didn't know what he was talking about.
You seriously didn't understand anything that he was saying?
Like I says, when
there was no pointing involved? Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
There was no pointing involved? This is who, the plaintiffs?
The plaintiffs.
Okay. So this is a photograph of the center of the tree, which clearly, clearly, it looks like it's hollow.
I don't believe so, ma'am. It looked like a healthy trunk that snapped off under the weight of the snow.
So, tree comes down, otherwise healthy, damages the neighbor's property, responsible?
No, it's an act of God. I mean, how could you plan for that? If it's a healthy
Maybe that's true, but it's the tree that causes the damage to the truck.
Yeah, I would say it's an act of God. So, I mean, how can you...
Tough luck, right?
I wouldn't. I would say it's an insurance problem. It's force majeure.
Force majeure, but wait a minute. An insurance problem means that the tree owner's responsible.
Correct.
Why is he responsible if it's an act of God? Think about that. Get back to me. Going inside the courtroom.
What did they do wrong that they would have to pay for the damage to your car? What did they do wrong? Because they didn't cause a hurricane to happen. I mean, the hurricane, I'm sorry. They didn't cause a Yeah, I'm back at home.
Back in Miami.
Back in Miami. They didn't cause a snowstorm to happen. They're not God.
They're one of the trees, Your Honor. The owner of the trees is in a property.
So what? That doesn't mean, just because a tree is in someone's property, when there's a snowstorm, it doesn't mean that they have to pay for the damage to your car. And it's worse. According to you folks, there was actually an advisory saying take your cars off the roads.
Correct.
What city is this?
Willimantic, Connecticut.
Wow. This is a letter from the police department that says it's to confirm that on Thursday, February 4th, the Willimantic Police Department began notifying city residents that a parking ban for the city would be instituted starting at 5 a.m. on Friday, February 5th, due to the impending snowstorm. City residents were advised to remove their vehicles from city streets. According to this, you're not even supposed to be parking there. Well, that just put the cherry on the sundae. All right. Mr. Fiore, I'm sorry that this happened to you, but you're going to have to either claim this through your own insurance, or if you don't have insurance, you're going to have to pay for this yourself. There's absolutely nothing that makes this their fault. That's a tree. God created the tree, and we call it an act of God that there was a snowstorm. I'm not sure that he or she fiddles with little things like snowstorms, but, you know. So you cannot say, hey, the tree's on your property, you got to pay for my car, $2,000, gimme. That's not how it works. You would have to show me that beforehand there was evidence that would tell a property owner, hey, this is a nuisance, this is a danger, and you have to fix this. And there's zero evidence of that in this case. In fact, even if there had been, you would have a hard time collecting, because according to the police, nobody's even supposed to have their cars out there. Starting at 5 o'clock before you went to work, you weren't supposed to be even parking there. So on so many fronts, my verdict is for the defendants.
So, in effect, the plaintiff, Mr. Fiore, doesn't have a leg to stand on in this case. Mr. Fiore, if you'll step over here for just a minute. Something tells me you're a little surprised by what you just found out,
Yes,
aren't you?
it making me surprised because as far as I understand, if I got trees and somebody parked under my trees and the trees fell off, my insurance should be cover the damage.
Well, you heard the order. The police department said you shouldn't even have been parked there.
No, the police, they don't give me no ticket. The police, they don't say nothing to me over there.
Well, sorry.
They come over there, they don't say nothing. No, I don't know how they are.
No way you could prevail in this case. Just
All
no
right,
way.
that's fine.
Sorry you couldn't get the $2,300 you wanted. You'll
Well,
have
it's
to
okay. They
pay
can
it yourself.
enjoy.
Okay, thank you very much. Now here come the defendants. Good thing you had that evidence with you. Boy, when the judge saw that.
Well, we came kind of over-prepared. We had other proof, too, that all over on the news that night, all over Connecticut, branches is breaking all over the place.
Well, listen, you're lucky. Good for you. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
You must sign some documents on your way out of the courtroom. Thank you. Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, I mean, look, it's as simple as this, that there has to be negligence in order for the defendant to be on the hook. There's no negligence because it's an act of God.